everybody! So in today's video I am just going to be doing a college related question and answer session. So I asked a bunch of my friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to ask me any questions they have related to college since I just finished my first year. And I'm going to be answering those questions as well as maybe throwing in a few tips along the way. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first question I have is, what is your favorite and least favorite part about college so far? I would have to say my favorite part about college is all the different people I've gotten to meet and become friends with. It's helped create the entire college experience, so it's been really great. And my least favorite part about college would have to be the food. It starts to get really not tasty after a while, but oh well. The question I have is, if you could do high school over again, knowing what you know now, what would you do different? I think the one thing that I would do differently if I could go back is put more effort into things. I'd put more effort into my grades and maintaining a 4.0 GPA. I would put more effort into cheerleading. I would put more effort into band and playing my instrument. Yeah, I just put a lot more effort into all the things I was involved in. So the next question I have is, what is different about the people that immediately enjoy college and those that don't? I was one of those that immediately enjoyed it. I didn't really get homesick. I was really excited, and I think that mainly was my mindset going in. But there were some people who didn't handle it well, and I think that for them it probably was that they weren't as excited going into it. I think that's a big factor. I think they probably were really excited, but at the same time, they were going to miss their families a lot, and they came in knowing that, knowing and not really, I guess they had a more pessimistic view on how they would handle it maybe. So when they thought when they came in that they were going to get homesick, and so they did. The next question I have is, what took me so long to figure out this first year of school? Well, that one's pretty easy. In high school, I didn't have to study a lot to get good grades, but that's so I didn't have set study habits exactly. I mean, I do my homework, and if I have to study a little bit, I'll study a little bit, but I wasn't prepared for college classwork. Kind of just my study habits weren't great, so if I could, something that took me a while to figure out is my study habits. The next question I have is, what did you worry about before coming to college that you know now to be silly? Probably being afraid of my roommate situation, just because everybody's told me so many crazy stories about how their roommate and them didn't get along, and that there was so many problems and they had to switch rooms and stuff, and that's a big thing they warn you about when picking your roommate and everything. And I did I kind of chose a random roommate. It wasn't somebody I knew beforehand. So we just kind of met on Facebook and was one of your roommates, and we were yeah, I didn't really even ask questions about each other before then. So it was, because at the point that we did it, we were both oh my gosh, we need roommates. It's that time. So we were just let's be roommates and done. And so I didn't know her very well, and I was really nervous about that. But honestly, she was probably the best roommate I could have my first year. We clicked right away, and we got along really well, and our room, we set it up really perfectly and had a really good room dynamic kind of thing going, and we respected each other's space, and I don't know, it just worked out. We didn't fight once all year. It was great. So that's probably the thing that I was scared for and that didn't really need to be. So the next question I have is, what opportunities are there for you to do activities and or meet people that interest you? Well, honestly, at my school and probably at every other college in America, from what I have seen and heard, there's a million things to do on campus. There's sports, there's intramural sports, there's clubs, activities. They your first few weeks, they constantly have things going on. You should just go to all of them. It's true, they have so many activities, especially at the beginning, that you can go to. Even if they seem boring, you're gonna meet so many new people. And then past that, there's I think there's over 100 different clubs at my school, and I go to a relatively small school, so I mean, there's a lot that you could look into joining that might interest you and meet people that are interested in the same things. So there's a lot of opportunities. The next question I have is asking if I rushed a sorority, and if so, how the experience was as a whole. Yes, I did rush a sorority, and it's kind of really hard to get into like the rushing experience because it's really long, so I'm probably going to make a separate video on that later on specifically about that. But like the whole rushing experience, it was fun, but it was also really stressful. But at the same time, the reasons that made it stressful were also the reasons why it worked, and I was able to find a sorority that I really fit and clicked with, and rushing has been one of the best things I've done in college so far. So okay, so the next question I have is, what are some key differences between high school and college? Is there anything better or worse in college than in high school? And there's like the obvious things that are different, like you don't have class from 8 to 3 or whatever, like straight classes all the time. I mean, you can if you set your schedule up that way, but I would say that's one of the main differences is you get ultimate control over what classes you take and when you take them and stuff. So I think that's like something that's better about high school, or better about college than high school. In college, the workload is actually a lot harder. I know people kind of think, oh no, high school is hard, I took a bunch of college classes. It's not the same. College workload, you may not, like, the way it works in college is you can have a couple weeks where you don't have anything going on, you kind of fall into a funk because you don't have a lot of homework or tests or anything, but then they all do it at once. Like you have, like, not even kidding, like 3 papers, 2 exams, 4 quizzes, 1 week. It can happen, like, not joking. So I think that's one of the things that's worse about college than it is in high school, is that the workload is a lot harder and more intense. Another thing that's like different between them is